Hi everyone, welcome back to Showmatch Sunday. So this episode is against John Roberts Gaming, and I'm going to call it the lost episode of Season 1. Season 1 being the 6 episodes that went up last November, roughly, I believe. I recorded this game with those 6. I played 7 games pretty much like at the same time, and this was just happened to be the last one that finished. And I took a break from the game after those 6 were done, so I never actually edited this final one because I was just sort of having a bit of a hiatus from the game at that point, so it never got done. So I'm now going through some of my folders of Axis, recordings and gameplay, and just making sure I've put up the games that I wanted to put up, and this is one of them, obviously. So apologies to John for having this. Taking so long to do this one, but we finally got around to it. So yeah, I thought we could call this game the lost episode of Season 1 of Showmatch Sunday, and it'll be the final one of Season 1. So I do hope to do another season of this at some point with some new players, and maybe even some of the players from Season 1. In Season 1 we had Yan, we had Roche Warrior, we had Julius, Grey Shots, C Brown, PT, and Cobra, and obviously John Roberts. So yeah, for Season 2, there's plenty of names I can think of. And I may approach some people we played before to see if they want to rematch, because there were some talk of rematches in the first season, so that could be fun. But anyway, yeah, so today we're playing John Roberts. I'm sure people familiar with the Axis scene will know John. He's got his own channel, a gaming channel, called John Roberts Gaming, which I recommend subbing to if you've not already. He's posted regular Axis content, as well as, similar to me, it's like, mixed in with other stuff as well, I think, which is a good thing. I love to do that as well, because I can't play one game continuously. It has to be a variety, otherwise it goes stale for me. So the variety is good. But yeah, I'd recommend having a look at his channel if you want to see some more Axis content. And yeah, here we go. Let's crack on with the lost episode from Season 1. Just one final note as well, I should have mentioned, the entire game is also up on John's channel as well, so if you fancied watching it from John's perspective, then head over to his channel. But anyway, so round 1, here we go. So for round 1, Russia, John bought 2 tanks and 4 infantry. I like the buy, pretty normal buy. Had a very average opening, I would say. He took Ukraine, but only with 1 tank to spare, and was left with 5 infantry left in West Russia, so pretty average. Because of that, I thought I could justify a bit of a buy that I don't often go for, but it's the bomber buy on Germany 1 with 7 infantry and 2 artilleries. I prefer the 11 infantry, but if Russia's numbers are low, than they often are, then I feel like the bomber buy is quite nice in trying to deter the UK fleet early on. So yeah, that's what we went for this round. For combat moves, Germany 1, it was pretty average, just clearing out the fleet in Season 7. We're obviously stacking our planes in northwestern, with the bomber being placed in Italy. I went for Transjordan, went for Ukraine, and didn't have the numbers. I think it was going to be tight, I believe, in Karelia. Sorry, so I decided just to play it safe, and we'll lightly stack everything. Put 1-1-1, Belarus, Ukraine, Karelia, 1 guy in each, and we'll go for the Karelia stack. Germany 2. Okay, Japan 1. So the UK got a fleet off round 1, which was kind of annoying, but there you go. But for some normal attacks, took 61, and had 1 transport left over to 33, so we started to hit that on the combat move. Pretty normal, going for Buryatia, Burma, Yunnan, and Anhui. Skipped Pearl this game. Was generally okay, apart from Anhui. Anhui was an absolute disaster. We were left with 1 infantry left, and obviously that's a clear target for the 2 US troops in Sichuan. They can just very easily just mop that up. Well, it's not guaranteed, but they can go for that definitely. And the Russians can take Kwantung, and it'll mean I've got no land units in range to take back Anhui, which is frustrating. So yeah, not the best land trades for Japan in round 1. On to J2. I think I'll just cover the Japanese side of this war for just for speed. I think we got the Karelia stack off with Germany, and that's pretty much the only news really. Obviously the UK are trading. So for Japan 2, I bought 2 transport, 6 infantry. I want to go max expansion, because we know now obviously the US have shown us that John's going to go a KGF, so Japan's got some freedom. So we're up to 4 transports for Japan, and we've got 2 that are free to move down south and try and expand quickly. So some normal land trades. It was a mistake for John not to go for Anhui, so I was really happy about that. We could just move forward, obviously, and not have to worry about killing those guys eventually. So yeah, we've got some decent, just a bit of expansion, and we're full steam ahead for the big push for IPC in the Pacific. So on to J3. We bought 8 guys for Japan and also a complex for Manchuria, and just more expansion obviously up into Evenki. Got Novo being attacked, Kazakh. We also went for a bombing raid in Russia, which was successful, which was nice. We've taken Western Australia too, so yeah, we're full steam ahead. After capping Australia, in the entirety of Australia in J4, and then obviously we're just beginning to build the stack that's hopefully going to eventually stack Kazakh at some point, and yeah, just full pressure for China. We're going to ignore India for this game, obviously. China's the real goal, and see how quickly we can grab all these Pacific Islands, really. So, on to Japan 4. The nice thing about having 2 transports near Australia early on is you can go east and west in one move, which is what we did here. I took Madagascar in round 4, which I was pretty happy about. Also, we took New Zealand and attacked eastern Australia, so by round 4 we've got control of the entire southern region pretty much, which is really nice. It's very quick expansion, which is good. We also grabbed Vologda and hit Kazakh. Ignored Novo for this particular round, just because the planes were a bit of an issue. But yeah, we've got some more planes up there now, so we can trade a few more things. So yeah, concentrating on the Russian front. Our expansion in the Pacific is almost done. We just got to grab Hawaii, and obviously we'll drop the guy off from Madagascar onto the mainland of Africa most likely, and yeah, from there it's just all about stat building. The buy wasn't great this round from us. We bought a complex, which I think was a bit too a bit premature, because we had not enough IPC to fill up our transports in 61, so not ideal there. We bought 3 for Manchuria, the tank as well, actually, to be fair, so we were thinking aggressively, but only 5, we could only afford 5 for Japan, so not ideal buy, I don't think, for me there. Probably would have been better just to ditch the tank and go for some more, just more land, and maybe even delay the complex in Kwantung for one more round, but still looking good though. Japan's economy is already looking really healthy, so yeah, we're in good shape. Okay, on to Japan 5. A bit of cleanup to do in Thailand, because we failed to take Burma last round, so we walked an infantry into Thailand, which is a bit annoying, so a bit of a delay to the land troops moving forward there, which is not great, but still. Everything else went well apart from Vologda. Failed to trade it, unfortunately, and we also didn't attack Kazakh, which is an odd choice for me here. I'm not sure why I chose to do that, but still. We have Hawaii, and the economy is looking nice. Look at the war report at the end of round 5, or the end of round 5 Japan. We're slightly behind on attack power because the US has still got to go. However, we do have a nice economy. We've got 47 IPC national production for Japan, and yeah, it's only going to get bigger. So yeah, Japan's entering kind of beast status almost. We're almost there. On to Japan 6. Quite a nice round for the Japan this one. The Germans have been blitzing through Africa, which is nice. We decided to sack a transport to take Brazil because John left me an opportunity to just move in there, which I'm always going to take. It's just annoying for the Americans to deal with, as is Alaska. So we've got nothing else to do really with the fleet in Hawaii, so why not take Alaska? So Alaska's grabbed, Brazil's taken. We're also attacking Evenki, Novo and Kazakh, all of which were successful. So Japan gets a big payday for round 7, which is nice. Obviously the stack continues to grow near Kazakh. Okay, so Japan 7 was quite a big round for Japan. A few mistakes from John here though. I'm not sure exactly what happened with Brazil on US 6. I'm not sure why he didn't recapture it. You may have to look back at John's video to find out why. I can't remember honestly. I think we probably talked about it in Discord, but I can't remember. So Japan's got Brazil for an extra round here, which is lovely. Also, he's overreacted to my 64 fleet with a lot of troops in Western US, which is very much overkill for what he needed there. This is far too much, and it's troops that are not going to be, obviously, they're out of position really for the shock. But yeah, attacking everything pretty much, and we're also stacking on the Russian front, and we're just stacking Novo because we had odds. I'm not sure exactly the specific odds we had, but I know they must have been good. I think also if Russia decided to commit to that fight, then it would compromise their West Russia stack, because the tanks would have to move out to get any kind of odds on Novo. So yeah, we're forward stacking now, and so hopefully we're going to get the retreat from West Russia in the coming round, ideally. So So we're actually going to take a look at Germany 8 this round, because I think this round 8 in particular, I think was the kind of the turning point for the game, where the Axis started to really take a commanding lead. Because of the Novo stack, which obviously I think John missed that, so obviously the turn order of moving out of West Russia was off, and so he had to abandon his UK fighters in West Russia, which for me obviously is huge. We get to stack West Russia with Germany and obviously kill those 5 UK fighters, which is massive. You'll see at the end of this round, I'll show you the war diaries. The attack power shoots up for the Axis at this point. So yeah, we get quite a nice lead by the end of this. So yes, this is the situation in Europe anyway. We're strafing France because he's got a kind of like a mid stack there, but I think we've got 8 guys blitzing through northwestern, taking Ukraine, obviously just taking West Russia, and killing some US troops in Sudan that have pushed down. But apart from that, we've got complete control of Africa virtually. So having those extra 4 IPC, even if we don't take France, means the German economy is actually still pretty good, to be fair. And looking okay really. So obviously the US are committed. There's no major stacks anyway for the Allies. The US have got no major stacks. The UK have not got no major stacks. So yeah, there's no real kill squad for Germany at the moment. And you can see for the war diary here that Japan is making 51 per turn at least. So they're looking very healthy, and obviously Russia's completely squeezed. UK is not looking too great because of obviously the situation in Africa. Even with France, France is what's being bolstered up. So yeah, still in the 80s, but the attack power lead there you can see was pretty significant at this point. So I felt like after this round we were on the home stretch for this game. I thought it was pretty much in the bag. So on to Japan 8. Nothing much to really say. It's just more obviously pushing. We're trying to get the Kazakh stack off at some point soon is the idea. But yeah, we traded everything on Moscow's border. So we're into Archangel now as well. We've got Vologda, obviously Novo, Kazakh, and we've got some guys in Caucasus. So hopefully we're going to be able to get a combined. Hopefully we can get into the Caucasus ideally with Germany. That will be a nice thing to do. We obviously covered the West Russia stack temporarily with the Japanese fighters, but the idea hopefully eventually is to get into the Caucasus, because that's the ideal final position for the Axis before they take Moscow. So we'll see if we can do that ASAP. On to Japan 9. What was interesting from Russia's play in round 9, they didn't actually choose to take Caucasus, which I thought was again a mistake, because it gives Japan. It enables Japan to deploy this round into Caucasus, which was huge. I think if you either prioritise trading Caucasus, he could have at least made Germany capture it. So it's obviously not quite as good in Germany's hands, because Japan being able to deploy directly, with a 4 IPC territory next to Moscow is huge. It's so good. So I think it was a mistake not to trade the Caucasus back, to at least make Germany trade it. But as it was, obviously we could move the entire German stack into the Caucasus with German planes as well, which was good. 2 planes are in there, and then obviously enabled me to deploy 4 Japanese troops there. We blitzed some tanks through, put our planes in there. So yeah, the Axis Caucasus stack is firmly in place, which is nice. Obviously, I had to leave some German sacrifice in West Russia to get the Japanese planes out safely, which is a bit unfortunate. But I'm hoping at this point that when if Russia does attack, that it's not too painful. I think he may strafe this or something, but if we can get a few of them out, that'd be nice. But we'll see how it goes. We can also attack Karelia with those 7 guys if they don't get attacked. So it would have been nice to get them out alive, but again, we'll see how it goes. So, on to Japan 10. The UK decided to pull out of India. I think they were struggling for, obviously, odds with Japanese tanks sitting in the Caucasus, so we decided to pull out into Burma. So I reacted to that by, I think, just stacking Yunnan, and the idea, hopefully, if he was to go further, either Thailand or we could at least try and... he's not trading Persia this round, so if he goes back to India, then we're going to have tanks available to try and blitz down and finish that stack off. So yeah, India's pretty much dead at this point. If you look at the attack power at this point as well in the game, we're almost at 100 attack power lead, which is really nice. So obviously Japan is still raking in the cash, and Germany's far from dead with 37 national production. We're also trading France back and forth at this point, so yeah, I've actually got a good German buy here, which is 42 IPC. It's pretty normal. Well, that's like what you get at the start of the game, so the German economy is definitely doing really well, and at this point, well, the UK economy is almost gone as well. They've got 18. They're getting their funds by trading France and Northwest and back and forth. So, yeah, it's only a matter of time at this point before we do take Moscow, just because of the economic deficit that's in place at the moment between the Axis and Allies. It's yeah, we have quite a strong lead economically. Japan 11. The UK moved back to India as we thought they may do. So we obviously took the opportunity to finally finish them off, which is good. Obviously, we took Karelia as well, so we're actually up to 9 VCs currently. Obviously, the US can prevent that. They've got France. We've not quite got the troops to hold the 3 European VCs, as in Berlin, France, and Germany. Sorry, Berlin, Italy, and France. Sorry, but yeah, we're almost there. I think I was at this kind of point in the game. I think I had to remind myself the goal of the actual game, because when you kind of get into a bit of a you get into a bit of a repetition, a bit of a a routine of just playing for the IPC advantage. I've got my eyes set on Moscow, whereas there may be, if you're paying close attention to the board, then there may be other opportunities to actually win the game. I think Karelia here is the opportunity if we can get some tanks through West Russia to stack it, because obviously if we can bring some Japanese planes down maybe to defend France or Italy. The US, they've only got minimal troops down there. They've only got about 6 or 8 guys, generally speaking. So if we can find a window to block off some VCs in Europe, we should be okay to get the snipe. So I think that's something I'm not sure if I was fully paying attention to. I think my eyes were probably still thinking about. I was still thinking about Moscow eventually, but yeah, Karelia is going to be the play. I think long term, it's something you always have to keep an eye on if you can snipe a VC at any point in the game. So on to Japan 12. This was the point where I think I did click on to the fact that Karelia was vulnerable because of the turn orders that the UK have got no troops in Moscow. So when Germany takes West Russia, there's nothing in place to then, assuming that to also take Karelia, there's nothing in place to actually prevent the Japanese tanks from slipping through West Russia into Karelia and capping a VC. So I think it does finally click with me this round. That's going to be the way to win this game sooner than I would have expected. Obviously, Moscow was the initial goal, but Karelia is going to be the target now. So I believe I moved the 3 planes, the Japanese planes, into position just in case. I don't know why I did that, because they've got range. I guess I was just protecting Berlin maybe, so I could move more out to Italy. I forget my thinking there, to be honest, but they did have range of all the VCs in Europe from the Caucasus, so it wasn't necessary if that was the plan. But I think, as I said, it was probably just to allow me to move more guys out of Berlin once I did that. I think what I was probably thinking of was going for it in round 13, moving a lot of stuff to France, because France was the vulnerability, as Italy's stacked here, obviously. We don't have a huge amount in Berlin, so having those extra planes nearby to help stack France before the US turn, which is going to be the big threat, was likely the game plan here. So yeah, we're eyeing the VC snipe for round 13 at this point, and yeah, the rest of the board is looking very comfortable. There's no contention pretty much in Africa. We've got a few guys, Japanese guys in Sudan, just waiting for to trade back Italy should we need to. So Egypt, sorry. And yeah, so the Africa side of things looking really good. Obviously, we're harassing Alaska as well to keep a few units pinned on the western side of the US, and just general play really. We're maintaining a complete envelopment of Moscow and building our stack in the Caucasus. So Japan, well, round 13, the final round of this game. We obviously moved the Japanese tanks through West Russia into Karelia, giving us the 9th VC, and we put a pretty hefty stack into France, including all Japanese planes. There were 6 Japanese planes and plus a crap ton of German guys. So yeah, also the numbers were slightly off, I think, in Canada for his transports. He only had 10 ground to attack France with 8 transports available, so slightly off on the shock, but yeah, that obviously heavily favours me, which was good. So we were able to close one out. I've not got the final screenshot from this game. If you want to see the very final part of this, then you can head over to John's channel to watch the video. But yeah, this was the final position before obviously the US attacked France and failed to take, which is understandable. There's just too much material in front at this point to make it realistic. But yeah, there we go. So GG to John, well played. It was definitely a fun game. I think John was ahead, I think, in the early game as well. I'll go through some mistakes I think both of us made, so as a bit of a quick summary for how it went. I think the early game, John was ahead. I think one of my mistakes in this game was the fact that I wasn't stack pivoting with Germany, which is something I do now, but again, this was played late last year. It's just, yeah, it wasn't particularly efficient German play. I was burning through a lot of guys, consistently trading France and Northwestern with the UK. And the far better way to do it is to have one big stack that just moves back and forth between the two. Not only does that give you trading efficiency, because you're likely to kill whatever's in your territory you're attacking in one go because you've got so many troops, but also it means that the allies likely can't hit that stack wherever it ends up. So you're only going to be losing one of those territories each round as opposed to two. So the stack pivoting, I think, was crucial, and yeah, I was not doing it this game. I don't believe. At least I can't remember any time I was doing it. From the screenshots I've seen, anyway, I was not stack pivoting, which was a big mistake. So Germany was weaker than it should have been, I think, is the main point. So I think that the mistake from John, or the turning point in this game, which allowed me to really start ramping up the lead, was the situation with the Japanese Novo stack. Obviously stacking Novo and making a pretty considerable threat on Moscow meant that he had to pull out of West Russia, I think, before he'd noticed it. So obviously if you know there's going to be a forward stack on Moscow's doorstep, the first step is to pull out with the UK, because then you don't leave anything hanging in West Russia. As it was, I think he missed the stack in Novo in the calculations, or when he was eyeing at the board. And so obviously when he was retreating from West Russia, the UK planes were left to die in West Russia. So that was a big turning point, I think, for me, because obviously, for one, it killed a lot of material for the Allies. The UK fighters are extremely valuable, and killing 5 of them was pretty huge. But also, positionally, with kicking the Allies out of West Russia, it then opens the door for the Axis to get into the Caucasus, which is, as I mentioned before, it's the end goal before Moscow, generally speaking, for the Axis. So yeah, that was nice. But yeah, no, John played well. It was a very good game. I did enjoy it. I remember obviously it was a few months ago now, but I do remember really enjoying the game. And yeah, I know it's quite nice looking through some of John's videos about it as well, seeing his perspective throughout the game. But yeah, well played to John. Really enjoyed that. We'll have to see if we can get a rematch for season 2 maybe. That'd be good fun. But anyway, this has been the lost episode of season 1 Showmatch Sunday. So I hope you enjoyed this very quick summary, I suppose, of the game. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Take care.